Alrighty, hello you cool cats and kittens out there. It is time for me to put out the Fantasy Football 2026 CFL draft order. So everybody get really excited. As you can see, my fantasy baseball team here has been cooking a little bit. I gotta be honest, I'm 12-4, and I won fantasy basketball this year. Although last year, the fantasy football season was so sad for me. Because I had the best team, and you guys all, I think, know that. Like, look at hold on a second. The year before that, I went crazy and decided to take Mahomes and Kelsey. And I only went 7-7, which was kind of bullcrap because my squad was just pretty good. I mean, although I don't know. Richie's team was probably the best, if we're being honest. Richie was loaded last year. Look at Richie. Look at the Richie. The Jags, you know what? People can say what they want about the Jags and everything, but people can say, I don't know what they would say about that. I don't know what people say about the Jags, other than the Jags just kind of win a lot. I'm kind of curious. So last year, Richie goes 10-4. What did he do in 2024? See, Richie can be a little streaky, though. All right, so 7-7. Where'd he go in the playoffs that year? The Jags. Oh, he got smoked by, of course. Look at that record, dude. 14-0. Shamokin Way was 14-0. It's still crazy to look at that. But yeah, the Jags talent-wise probably were the best team last year, although I would have beaten him if stupid Lamar Jackson I don't know why I just stuck with this bum the whole year. Look at this game. I still think about this every day. I guess they just forgot to put the totals in on this. I tell you what, the ESPN app is just like not that great, but Lamar Jackson in week 16 of last year decided, I got a little I should have just benched his ass, because look at how bad, like, he starts the year so good for me, and then he just decides here he's going to get hurt, and is like I think he faked this injury for most of the season because he just didn't want to play for my team. Well, then he came back and he was like pretty solid, and then I just kept him in there for way too long. I don't know why I did that. That was probably what sunk my season, honestly. But I kept waiting, like, he's Lamar Jackson. At some point, he's going to turn it around, right? And then he scores 20, And then I'm just like, this game against New England, I mean, the Patriots were frauds. And so I stuck with them. But I should have gone with Drake May, and I didn't. That was the thing that sunk my season. I would have lost the championship anyway, which is a decent consolation. But anyhow, it ends up being the California Mornings who won the whole thing. For the first time since 2011, the California Mornings, CFL champions, team of the decade, most successful franchise. Well, that was the Bob Costas line when the Yankees won the World Series in 1998. Team of the decade, most successful. The Mornings are not quite the team of the decade yet. I don't know who the team of the decade would be. I would say maybe probably Richie. But Richie couldn't overcome the Mornings, who snuck this one out. Poor Conahan here. Ryan had a great season last year. Well, really, he didn't have a great season. He was kind of up and down. And then Trevion Henderson got super hot, if you remember. And then Pookie went crazy in the playoffs. Look at this. 28, 18, and 34. He scored 34 points in this game, was it? Why wouldn't it show it? What week is this? Yeah, week 16. So he had Pookie score 34 points. And I think that was a Thursday night game. So it really looked like we were getting a virus championship game, at least. He was going to go to the title. But I think everyone else just was a major letdown. And for some reason, he had J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. That's what killed him. There had to have been a better option, Ryan. There's no way that J.J. McCarthy was his best option at quarterback. Meanwhile, Brian had like 9 quarterbacks. Why did he start Brissett, Brian? Let's see. Oof. See, but Brian mixed and matched it the whole season because this team is not that good. You look at like the guys' names on my team or Richie's team were kind of studs. Brian had, of course, Beyond Mustard, and he just was so good last year. But other than that, I mean, Brian was mixing and matching with like these random dudes. Michael Wilson, actually, he was actually pretty. Forgot about him. He was pretty good last year. Michael Wilson. This guy who had Shadur Sanders throwing him the ball. But look at it. Brian was mixing and matching. He was pretty good there towards the end of the season, too. I hate this guy. Although he did go to Notre Dame. I picked him up. I bet like a whole bunch of waiver dollars on Estime. And 2 years ago, and he was just awful. But for Brian, he was... Got to give Brian credit. Last year, he really... Because this team was not that good. And I think that our friends at the CFL Weekly wrote about this pretty often, but like this is not that good of a team. And it's not like Brian was winning games by scoring no points. Like he scored in the championship 136 points. So, it's a good lesson to learn. If you don't have a great team, sometimes you could still, if you are a good owner, like our friend Brian, who really is, the sun always shines in California on the mornings. I still can't believe Brian did it. I'm like a little bummed out by it because it was kind of one of those funny things where Brian was always so good and then, he just would lose like in the semifinals randomly for no reason. It was kind of an interesting storyline. But he's the defending champ now. And he had Purdy, if I remember, went crazy in the championship. Look at Purdy. 33. He had 5 touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 3 all season. He had 2 in that game. Brian also, I think, didn't Juwan Jennings have a game for him there too? He did. He had a touchdown. And Richie just didn't show up to play that game, unfortunately. Meanwhile, this asshole, 30 points against me in the semifinals. Are you kidding? He was so bad all year. He scores 30 points against me in the semifinals. Oh, it's just so sad. But what else happened last year? Let's see here. Bippity boppity boopity. Let me go back to the... Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Philly Cuna. Phil last year drafted 4 straight running backs in the draft. It actually wasn't so bad. And he had Gibbs just go crazy for him. Phil's problem was he had no quarterback. He was starting Daniel Jones for a while. Somehow he settled on Mariota there. This guy, Mahomes, who apparently is healthy. I read that he's going to be back. He's off, he's practicing in full somehow. He was pretty good, but Philly Cuna, yet again. Phil has not won, despite being always good. Phil has not won now since 2016. The year he got David, when Mouton foolishly traded him David Johnson. That's the last time Phil Cuna has won a championship. And you got to feel for Phil a little bit because every year, I mean, Phil's had some great teams. Last year his team wasn't so great, but he was pretty good. The year before that he goes 11-3. The only reason he has to play in the wild card round is because Massa goes literally undefeated. Then he goes to the championship. I think almost all his losses that season were just Massa. Because he lost to him 2 times, obviously, right? Philly. He loses to the way he was here. He loses to the way he was here. And then he loses to the way he was in the championship. Caroline was the only other loss for Phil in 2024. And yet he did not win the championship because... So Phil's really had some rough 2023, I remember his team was good, didn't win the championship. The real killers were like some of these other seasons. He had, I think, the best team in 2022 and didn't win it. That was, oops. Maybe I should zoom out a little bit here. I don't know if you can see what I'm looking at. So 2022, Phil, I think, had the best team in the league. I forget exactly why Pat. Pat had Eckler. Phil, like, just has a letdown game. Phil's had some bad beats. Phil's the new bad beat king, although I'm getting up there too a little bit. Brian was the bad beat king, and now it's Phil. Because Phil's just taking some tough ones. He's 12 and 2021, he was the best team. 12-2. But that was one of those years where Richie just like went lights out in the play. He scored 119 on me in the semifinals. And he scores 143 points against Phil in the championship. And they just won't show the actual point totals. But if I remember, I think every guy in his team scored a touchdown. He had Darrell Williams, Kyle Pitts, T. Higgins. T. Higgins, that piece of crap. That year he scored 31 points against me in the semifinals. So, like, I'm up on the bad beat list myself, but Phil's really taken some tough losses. At some point, the Rebels are going to break through here. But it's been a while. 2016 for Phil. 2016 for Phil. Let's go down the list of recent champions. I wonder if anyone of you guys are actually going to care about any of this. Probably not. 2025, it was, of course, Brian Vaughn and the California Mornings. And then 2024, it was the undefeated, unstoppable, super special, greatest team of all time, Shamokin Way was. 2023, it was Richard. Because Richie like wins the championship now basically every other year. 2022, our good friend and ball knower, Patrick Shields. Then Richie again. Then Patrick Shields again. For a little while there, it was like Richie and Pat just kind of dominating everybody. 2019 was the Brooklyn Titans. The Titans of the Midway. And then 2018 was, of course, your friendly neighborhood commissioner who crushed the heart of the California Mornings. Let's look at these point totals I put up at that year in the playoffs. This is the single greatest playoff run ever. I don't care what anybody says. I smoke little old Patty Shields. I smoke him. That's a record in a playoff game. 173 points. I smoke him. Then I play the great Phil Cuna. I smoke him. And then I play Brian in the championship. Look at the gauntlet there. The Rebel. I beat the Mornings, the Rebels, the Luke Roars. I beat everybody. Guys, I had Christian McCaffrey, traded for Christian McCaffrey that year from our good friend Matt McGimpsey. And boy, oh boy, was he something else that year for me. He was so good. And then I won it in 2017 too. Last repeat champion and only repeat champion ever was me. So, but last year we had a lot of good stuff happen. You know, the virus are turning it around. You know, we had a lot of good things happen last year. And it's always good that we are close to another CFL season. We're only about 7 Sundays away from National Football League football. And our recently married friend, Thomas Vaughn, struggled, but now that he's married, maybe marriage will have him wisen up and he will be more focused on his squad. Or our other married friend, he's already focused on his squad. And he had a good year last year, Matt. But if I remember, he kind of was a little bit of fool's gold. He was a little bit of fool's gold because Bucky Irving was trash. Whatever happened to Bucky Irving? Like, he got hurt, and then I remember there was like the story that he was healthy, but then he wasn't playing and stuff. I have updates to install, but I'm never going to do that. So But yeah, look at these records here. Philly. That's the first time I think ever. I'll have to go double check on that. I did the numbers in the newsletter last year, but that's like the first time Conahan's ever won the division. You know what? No, there was one 2014 that year. He had like that poop team, but he never lost. He was 11-2. That was the only other. So this is only a second. Conahan has been in this league for 22 years. He's won the division 2 times. I think he's only gone to the playoffs 5 times. But it's the dawn of a new day for the Virus because they almost went to the championship last year. So Caroline's going to win it at some point soon. I'm very excited for that. Mouton, he's another guy who's taken some bad beats. Although he deleted the group me and never said anything, so no one heard from him for like 4 years, which was kind of upsetting and depressing, if I'm being honest with you. So I hope he loses all of his games forever. And I'm just kidding, Mouton. I don't mean that. Of course, Massa. Massa could never win again, and it would never matter because he had the greatest. He could always just say, I have the best team ever. Although I might also have the best team ever. I want to go undefeated at some point. Chris, I saw Chris yesterday on his way to Target. He was going to get some stuff for his kitchen. Could be a possible guy to host the draft. We'll see. I could maybe do it too. I mean, I have like a little bit of space in here. Mind the mess. Look at that. Donuts. Celsius. It's a mess in here. I gotta clean. Okay. Let's set the mood a little bit. Is any other big talking points in the off season here? Phil has taken a lot of wear and tear and has flirted with possibly retiring, which he's not allowed to do. But this year he seems like he's back in the game. He's accepted that you can't always win it. Brian's been jet-setting the worlds. He met the president, and the president said, Brian Vaughn's a wonderful guy. He's the greatest guy I've ever seen. He's a really handsome guy. He's a talented, handsome guy. So Brian might be a little distracted this offseason because he's getting a lot of press. I think he was at the Taylor Swift wedding at the Garden. So Brian's been jet-setting. There might be a championship hangover coming here because, he's got a little Hollywood out there in California. Matt's dealing with the pressures of fatherhood. Chris is busy buying things from Target. And the Mustangs are just always bad, no matter who they have. They had McCaffrey last year, didn't he? How do you have Christian McCaffrey and be terrible? Although I looked at the rankings. I don't know if you guys have been checking up on this stuff, but I did check the rankings out, which prompted me to then want to do this today. They have him ranked like pretty low. I think they're expecting him to get hurt, which I would be worried about myself because he does get hurt every other year and he's like 31 years old now. Handsome guy though, huh? Handsome guy. And his girlfriend is a baddie. Let's see, Christian McCaffrey. What's her name? Olivia Culpo. This is Christian McCaffrey. I think they might be married. Baddie. Baddie alert, baddie alert. Damn. Cover of Vogue magazine, it seems. Damn. It must be nice to be an NFL player. I wonder if it gets tiring to be an NFL player with all the baddies you probably get. Like, you can't even go to the bar without people staring at you, I'm sure McCaffrey probably has almost too many suitors. Anywho. But yeah, Chris had McCaffrey and won 4. Look at McCaffrey's numbers. How do you win 4 games, the guy scoring like 30 points a game? Chris, we all love you, but you really do need to do a better job at managing your squad because Bryce Young should never, ever be your starting quarterback. He's awful. He's like look, not to be a hater against short people because I'm not the tallest guy myself, but I can't have my quarterback be 5'4". He can't be. He just totally cannot be 5'4". And Bryce Young is there's a picture of him standing next to Mina Kimes, and Mina Kimes is towering over Bryce Young. It's crazy. And Mina Kimes, she's great, but there's no way Mina Kimes is 6'4". So, anyhow, let's set the mood a little bit. Here's a little football music. Isn't that exciting? Or how about this right here? Look at Carrie. This song is either a really exciting, fun song, or it's a song that is playing as you know your team already lost, and it's really depressing. Like, sometimes I'll sit there and watch this and just be so upset. Like, I watched that video, or before the game against Richie last year, I had Lamar Jackson on Sunday night. So excited, so happy. I thought I was going to win. I was like, let's go. I was going to talk some trash to Richie. And then Lamar Jackson faked an injury and I lost. So, whatever. Let's do it. Should we do Fantasy Pros? What do we do here? The fantasy football Reddit people are out of their minds. I kind of am done reading that stuff because every single guy in fantasy football Reddit, like every single new player they think is like the next Derrick Henry. They'll be like, you got to pick this guy up. He's like the best player ever. And he never is. So I'm going to do Walter Picks. I don't know what that is. Oof, I hate that. That's terrible. I guess we'll do Fantasy Pros, right? They're pretty reliable. All right, so we got ourselves 12 teams in this puppy. We got the old CFL. We'll do it by division. You know, we always put Eubank first, and I always get like a low pick. So let's do a little reverse order here on this one, huh? Actually, you know what? Let's just do whatever. So let's go. I'll do it by last year's standings. So, bop-a-da-bop-bop-bop. Boppity beep beep beep. Alrighty. Jersey Jaguars, Richard Hoffman. The GOAT himself. The GOAT himself, Richard Hoffman. Then we got who we talked about earlier. Jaguars have been one of the best teams in the league for a very long time now. He's very reliable. He's a steady drafter. He's a great gentleman, and he's an even better friend. And here we got Matthew McGimsey and the Brooklyn Titans. Matt has been... Matt's like a little hot. The Titans are a little bit of a hot and cold team at times. But when Matt's good, he's really good. Titans have not won it since 2019, though. Then we got the new America's team. America's team. The New York Knights. The greatest team in the history of fantasy football. The team that everyone always checks their box score and then they see what happens with the Knights. America's team. America's dream. And then we have our friend Christopher Sandoli. The Minnesota Mustangs. Handsome, talented swimmer. He's been swimming a lot, if you haven't followed Chris on Strava. I check his Strava, and Chris will swim like 500 yards every morning at 4 in the morning, which is insane to me. I don't even know where there's a pool in Hoboken. He lives in Hoboken again. There's no pool in Hoboken, but he swims I think he just jumps into the Hudson River. I think he actually did jump in the Hudson River. I'm not even kidding about that. There was like some kind of thing. But that does make you like radioactive. Maybe it'll give him like special powers to draft a good team. Then we'll go to the Hallis, who's named after the former Bears owner, George Hallis, Papa Bear. If you don't know who Papa Bear is, he was a lovely old man. He really had the dog mentality. The problem is everyone else in his family sucks, and that's why the Bears have struggled for so long after his death. But there he is, Papa Bear. So we'll put, who is it again? Green Bay Virus, the winner of the Hallis division for the second time in 22 years. Ryan Conahan. Did I ever tell you guys my sister has a friend named Brian Conahan? How strange. But Ryan Conahan. And the Green Bay Virus playing in Lambeau Field. Amazing. The Philadelphia Rebels. I kind of feel like the Rebels are going to win it this year. I don't know why, but I just kind of feel like it's Phil's time. It's Phil's time. It just is, I think, for some reason. Phil's going to win it. He's going to draft, like, whoever he drafts, like, if I would take that player, he's going to be terrible, but Phil's going to take him and he's going to go crazy. He's going to draft R.J. Harvey, and R.J. Harvey's going to run for 27 touchdowns. Then we have Anthony Massa, who had a little bit of a championship hangover last year. But his team was good. He had Jonathan Taylor for a while, was scoring like, if you go back and look at this is crazy. He scored at one point, I think it was 40 points a game. Not even kidding. 27, 29, 28, 31, 35, 46. 46 points. Look at this. And then Daniel Jones got hurt, so his production slowed down a little bit. And I do wonder about that offense because I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be healthy, and I don't even know who their backup quarterback is, so I don't know about him this year. It could be a little bit of a question. And Pickens was really good, too. Massa had a good team. He just kind of got a bad break there. Not as good as my team, because I think I smacked Massa last year. Didn't I? Sorry, Massa, but I think I gave you the smackdown. Let me see. Scooby-doo-boop-boop. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. No, actually, I had a bad game that game. See, my team was so hot and cold, dude. Ugh. Whatever. Alrighty, so we got our friend Anthony Masta. He's in there. And then our good friend, the great Patrick Shields. I saw Pat recently, too. He is looking handsome. He is killing it in his job. He wears like a nice little suit into work. He looks very handsome. Very talented, very handsome. Wonderful guy. He's a great guy. He's the best guy I've ever seen. Then we got, although the Luke Roars, they're another team that's hot and cold. But when Pat's good, he just wins the championship. He's kind of like Richie a little bit with that. Then we have the defending champion California Mornings, who we could very well see a championship hangover, or we could see a dynasty. It could go either way. We could have a dynasty here that's brewing, or we could have a championship hangover. He was at the Taylor Swift wedding. He did meet Donald Trump. Brian Vaughn is the most terrific guy you've ever seen. He's a beautiful, wonderful guy. So we don't really know what we're going to see. Staten Island Swerve. I have not seen Mouton, genuinely. I have not seen Mouton. I don't believe since 2010. I don't think I've seen Mouton. So Mouton, wherever you are, I really hope you're doing well. This could be a big year for the Swerve. Although it does depend on maybe the draft order here. But it could be a big year for the Swerve. We all believe in you. You know, Mouton used to be like always good, and then all of a sudden, like recently, I don't think he cares anymore. He doesn't care about the league anymore. What happened to Mouton? He had that one year where he won like one game, I think. Remember? What happened with him? He deleted the group me and stopped caring. He went 1-13. Mouton, what happened with you? We're all very worried about you. But maybe Mouton can make it to the draft. I don't know where he lives or anything. I don't know. The only time I talk to anybody is during football season, and it's very rarely about like what their life is like or anything. Although I did see Matt and Conahan last year, and they're doing well. They are doing well. Conahan lives over in Brooklyn. Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn? All right, and then we got Carolines. The Boston Renegades. Could be a big year for the Renegades. Everyone's saying that. All the CFL insiders are saying big year for the Renegades. Caroline's doing really good. She's got the house in Leonardo, New Jersey. And she's killing it at work, too. And the Cats, she's got the Cats. The Cats are doing good. And she's just doing good. I think the Renegades bound for a big season. It's going to happen. You can bet your bottom dollar. I actually do think eventually Caroline's going to win it. And she was like killing it on waivers last year too. She kind of got screwed because Derrick Henry had a down year a little bit, and Josh Allen wasn't quite good enough at times. And then we have the Houston Home Depot, and not the Goose Island Geese. Thomas Vaughn. Tom is a wonderful guy. He's a great guy. Tom Vaughn, one of the legends of the CFL. Kind of like maybe like an Al Davis type character of the CFL, you know? And the Home Depot have had a couple moments. They really have. And they haven't won it either. Of the teams that have not won the championship, Tom hasn't yet. Caroline hasn't. Mutan hasn't. Conahan hasn't. And Chris hasn't. Everybody else has. Richie's won. Matt's won. Of course, I've won. Not in a little bit, though. Philly has won. Mazda has, of course, he had his big one. And, of course, our friend Brian here. Big defend... Oh, shoot. That's a stupid function. Our friend Brian, the defending champions of the world. The defending champions of the world. So, it could be a dynasty, could be a championship hangover. So, here we go. We got the Jersey Jaguars, the Brooklyn Titans, the New York Knights, the Minnesota Mustangs, the Green Bay Virus, the Philadelphia Rebels, Shamokin Wawas, Los Angeles Lucrors, California Mornings, Staten Island Swerve, Boston Renegade, and the Houston Home Depot. This is some of the stuff I do for work, by the way. And now it's time for Diamond Notes. Sedan Rafaela hit a solo homer and Jared Duran drove in 3 as the Red Sox beat the Orioles 6-3 in Game 1 of their doubleheader earlier today. I give these to read to Susan Waldman. And she's usually been pretty chill with me lately, although she can be very scary. She scares the shit out of me. I do love her, though. She's badass. All right. There we go. Should I do anything else before I hit the button? I've been recording for 32 minutes, so... Maybe let's do a little bit more of this here. Hold on. That gets me really excited for football season. I think the Hall of Fame game is like pretty soon. But that gets me really excited for football season. As does Carrie. Carrie Underwood. The original Waiting All Day for Sunday Night was not Carrie Underwood. Who did... It was like Taylor or something. Who did the original... Faith something? Original Waiting All Day for Sunday Night. I've been waiting all day for the Sunday night. Zip-a-dop-a-doo in a primetime fight. No, that's not true. Pink? Oh, there it is. I guess Pink did it. Damn. Faith Hill, that's who it was. And then they were like, we're done with you. And we're going with Carrie. And Carrie's been doing it for a while now, so. I can't believe, who is this? Joan Jett? Alrighty, here we go. Everyone get ready. Everyone get ready. We got all the teams right. We're all good. Oh boy, moment of truth. Please don't give me the last pick. Please don't give me the last pick. I'm scared to hit the button. What happens if I get the last pick? I have to redo this whole video. I'm only kidding. Come on, come on, come on. I'm scared. Here we go, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oop. 5, 4, 3, 2. Bam. Let's go. Read it and weep, fellas. Read it and weep. And fellas and Caroline. Number 1, the Shamokin Wewas. Number 2, the Philadelphia Fightin' Rebels. Number 3, America's team, baby. Oh, yeah. Yeah, buddy. Cavs. Jersey Jaguars. Green Bay Virus. The Depot. Boston Renegades. The Brooklyn Titans. Brian, unfortunately, falls all the way to 9. It's an unfortunate fate for a good man, but he won last year, so he can't really say much. And who knows, at 9 you can get a good player. Brian could still win it for sure. The Swerve. Sorry, Mouton. You know, Mouton, it's okay if you're not good this year, but we do want to hear from you in our text chain. And then I really would like to hear from everyone from the text chain. I want everyone to answer my text as often as possible. The Los Angeles Luke Roars, and then, of course, unfortunately for our good friend Chris Sandoli, you picked 12th, buddy. So get ready to take DJ Moore or something like that. Or who's Chris going to take? Let's see. Player projections. Who's Chris going to take? Chris is going to take... Oh, I feel like Chris is going to take Brock Bowers. Jesus Christ, that's Jack Bowers. All right, so there you go, everybody. That's your draft order. Take a nice look at it. There it is, reading and weeps. So that's it. I was thinking of doing the drafts, if you guys are free, August 29th, Saturday. So you can we'll do it early if you have like... What is that, Memorial Day? What do they call that, Labor Day? If you got Labor Day plans, you can't wear white after Labor Day. Just a reminder for everybody. But if you got Labor Day plans, we could do it like early, and then you can do your thing. I don't know, maybe. But you guys are always so busy. I have like no plans ever. I have no plans for anything. You guys got plans for stuff, so I could do it that day. I think I'm also off this day. I'm off this whole weekend, I believe, so... If you can do it, the 29th would be great. We could do it like noon, 1, 2. We could do it at night and get wasted. I've been drinking a lot of Guinness lately, so I don't drink regular beer anymore. I only drink Guinness. All right, but maybe the 29th. Let me know if you're free, and that's that. So there's the draft order, everybody. Get excited. This 2026 season starts in like 7 Sundays, so... This is your friendly neighborhood commissioner checking in. Have a very beautiful rest of your day. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Enjoy the sunshine, 81 and partly sunny. Enjoy it all, because it's almost football season. And once it's football season, there will be nothing left to enjoy but the domination of your friends and family members in some cases. Okay, have a good one, everybody.